Good morning, church. Bonjour, l'église. Faut ça, on a bien raison. Faut me parler français qu'on y a parce que à mon c'est l'esprit anglais. You know, so I got to pick it up. I want to thank God for being here, as always. He has been faithful. Jésus, moi, c'est chanter papa me plus remè. So, là, chanter, elle me change papa. Parce qu'elle chantait ça souvent. Ou c'est sous, c'est pas chanter, elle fait mes gels. And the song is just, you know. So, thank you for the songs. The praise was amazing. Pour une raison, l'autre, depuis elle chantait tout joyeux, pour une raison, la connexion est toujours tellement précise là, par contre pour ça bon Dieu aime chanter. Moi c'est bon Dieu aime toujours bénissons le. I'm telling you, I'm not crazy. It's just something about that song, you know, that just gets you. So, again, I want to thank God for being here. Texte nous pour matin, n'a besoin de dans Somme 139 verset 13 à 16. Lily en anglais. And then maybe Jonathan can project it for me, or Jeremiah. Psalm 139, verses 13 and 16. It says, "For you formed my inward parts. You covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works. And my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance, being yet unformed, and in your book they all were written. The days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them." Next. Amen. Okay. Nous gagnons en affirmation. Chaque samedi, nous disons affirmation. Qui ça l'affirmation pour Adventiste, chrétien Adventiste? Exode 20. Ça y a affirmation par nous, pas vrai? However, God also has his own affirmation. Bon Dieu lui-même tout les gagne affirmation par. Because in Psalm 139, it says that God's affirmation is omnipotence, meaning God is everywhere. So li somnan wel di bon Dieu tout côté, everywhere at the same time, simultaneously. It also affirms God's omniscience, being that God knows everything. And omnipotent, that God is all-powerful. His knowledge is infinite. Connaissance bon Dieu pas gagné, fini. Li continue jusqu'à la fin. It says that there is no place to which God's knowledge and power do not extend. Pas un côté pouvoir bon Dieu pas arriver. He is infinite in power, wisdom, perfection, goodness, love, patience. See, this is what God, the Psalm 139 says. La montre ou affirmation bon Dieu qui j'en lit lié nous pas jamais qu'à comprendre bon Dieu. So growing up, I used to question God's existence. Growing up avec mon vel là. Back when dans jeunesse, même dans grand monde, on dit qui côté bon Dieu sorti. People do it, and it's normal to do that. So pas qu'on dit ça, then you know you're lying to yourself, because everybody at some point asks themselves that. I used to question that a lot, but then when I read, l'em li Esaïe 55 verset 8 à 9, il dit comme ça, "For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are my ways your ways. As the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways." So, pas gen gens qui comprennent bon Dieu vraiment, parce que Esaïe 55, verset 8 à 9 dit comme ça, "Pensez pas penser ou. Neither j'aime pas j'aime, ou pas j'aime qui comprendre moi vraiment." You know, it says that j'aime pi wo ke pa ou. So, même si tu fais effort, pas j'aime qui comprendre bon Dieu. C'est peut-être ça, en paquet moun toujours dit comme ça, nan kayo, why does this happen? When does this happen? How can this happen? You know, it's always, we wrestle with why certain things happen in this lifetime. We wrestle like, why do babies die? Why do young people die? You know, why do the good people die? Pourquoi ça c'est bon moun yo qui mourir méchant yo même y a mené. Nous demandons tête nous question ça et peut-être ça grand paquet monde qui pas croire dans bon Dieu parce que ça demande un bon Dieu qui bon qui dit le remet pour ça quitter tout ça au passé. So là n'a pas de questionner pour qui ça mais n'oubliez Somme 131 qui dit comme ça, my heart as Christians for nous lire Somme 131 qui dit my heart is not proud Lord, my eyes are not haughty, I do not concern myself with great matters or things too wonderful for me, but I have come and quieted myself. I am like a weaned child with its mother. Like a weaned child, I am content. For nous, content. Ça, bon Dieu, nous prendre, nous accepter. C'est un petit garçon. Il était qu'on fait des gars. Depuis elle vient là, il prend une fourchette, il met dans extension là, il manque prendre différents fois, il manque mettre calage dans différents. So ça m'envoie le moi, elle voyait me dit OK, pas de problème, n'a pas qu'elle. So maintenant chaque mia, depuis c'est côté qui a connexion ballon tape. Ou te moyen ça, ou te pas bloqué à faire. So après ça où elle vient la crier mais elle vient sous genou. Il a pas de gens mauvais avec. So that's what God wants from us. Même les fait nous on bagay nous pas jamais comprendre parce que si me quitte tellement elle on bagay passer c'est moi à blâme. So l'aime corriger là parce que son petit moun lié, il toujours vinn sous moi. Il vinn demander me lettre là, moi balé, il connaît ma tekel. C'est comme ça bon Dieu vle nous-mêmes qui dit nous petites li, il besoin nous vinn petit moun. Là ils font action pas questionner, pas dire comme ça, oh, me pense bon Dieu était bon, regardez ça, bon Dieu fait. Nous pas tourner de nous, bon Dieu, là, nous pas joindre ça, nous-mêmes, nos besoins. It says, if we try to understand God's ways from earth looking up, we will never understand. The key to that verse is God left us a clue. The clue is higher. His understanding is higher. It says his ways are not different from our ways. C'est pas gens qui différent de nous-mêmes. They're higher because they are better, because they are supreme. You're superior, you're better, and pas qu'à comprendre yo. Il dit, they exist on a grander scale. He parted the Red Sea. We still won't understand. Gen moun ki still ap make up bagay yo di kon sa, pas vrai, c'est bagay, myths. Ou pas m'entendre mon a parlé dire pas vrai, bon Dieu pas faire la mer rouge vraiment, pas de gen bagay ça, c'est mon bagay mon foi make up. Why? Because they cannot comprehend that. You cannot comprehend the fact that Peter was in jail and God delivered him. Pierre était en prison, bon Dieu délivré, but then bon Dieu quitte Stephen mourir, stoned to death. So what can you really say about that? Why, God? Why is it that certain people you allow certain things to happen and others you don't? Because we cannot understand. Because he has a plan. When you don't understand the plan, you can't understand the reason. That is why we have to go back to being a child and not want to understand, but just surrender ourselves because we know that he's going to take care of us. The beautiful thing about Psalm 139, because pas gon somme moi en pile moun remen et aucun raison pour yo remel. Là on lit Psalm 139, David is so astonished, avec joie, la montrer ça bon Dieu créé parce que nous pas juste fait comme ça. Psalm 139 says that God's creative work and his amazing characteristics, God knows everything about us. He knows where we go. He knows when we go out, when we come in. He knows our thoughts. Satan pas qu'on pense, mais bon Dieu qu'on pense. Ou te même fait sauver, bon Dieu qu'on s'attend dans cœur, pour ça dit David son homme selon Kepam. Ça veut dire moi li quel, moi pas gain malice in his heart parce que gain des moun wap gade yo, they smiling with you. Hey sister, meanwhile they hate you, and God sees that. And God says, vengeance will be mine because you really truly do not love that sister. Because in secret you hate her. So, et pour ça talk about moun where regardless of what happens in their lives, n'importe ça qui passe dans la vie, where you constant monter, descend, and God always finds a way to bring them back up, is because he reads their hearts. He says, I'm going to bring you back up because I understand you're trying. See, the key to being a Christian is to always try, to always put in the effort, to never give up, because there's going to be a point where he's going to take over. He's going to be, all right, you've tried a lot, now I'm going to take over. Même avec Tifim, we were arguing last night about something. When il comme ça, 18 décembre, c'est vous qui prêcher. Il dit, why do I have to? Why are you forcing me to? Il dit, la bonne Dieu te demande, pas dire m'gen choix, non? Il dit, wa prêcher, so me dit, okay. So me dit, wa prêcher, comme mon Dieu dit, wa prêcher. See, we don't have a choice when it comes to God's word because we've been chosen. So we should understand how precious it is to be chosen. How come you didn't ask Jason? I said, because Jason is not ready. Or how come you always say, my son, when you refer to Jason? You never say, my daughter. It's because you're already part of me. The Bible says that God says that he begot in Jesus. That means Jesus came out of him. So you're already my daughter. You came out of me. So I don't have to refer to you as my daughter because you already are me. Gina. But everybody else sees it. So you've already been gotten. So I don't have to say my daughter, because when they see you, they see me. You know, kids question if you love them. Trust me, we do. You know what I'm saying? So we do. So when you look at Job, Job also credits God for creating us long before we were physically born. So our creation was before this physical body came into play. Where physica, bon Dieu t'a créé nous déjà, et tant qu'il mettait nous à côté. Il dit qu'on y a, on va chercher son maman, comme for venir humain. Just like he made a plan for us before this was all in creation. Il fait plan salvation for us. Salut a été fait plan déjà. On l'autre bagaille, si moi a parlé hier soir, il dit, pourquoi ça bon Dieu trick nous? Étant donné qu'on est t'a mangé fruit, but yet il still met là. Ou bien il connaît nous t'a péché, but yet il still fait ça. I said, it's not a trick. Moi dis comme ça, ou gen machine, ou prend assurance sous lui. Est-ce que vous avez pensé faire accident? Non. Mais accident gen va venir. Assurance là c'est pour protéger. Ou gen kay, ou gen wa choisi pour pas gagner homeowners insurance. That is your choice. But the homeowner insurance is a protection in the event. So Bondye fait nous with the hope that we will not screw up. But he made a plan in the event that we do screw up. So it's not because he's setting you up. It's because he knows your heart. He says, you know what? Just in case Ashley screw up. But I am pushing for Ashley not to screw up. He doesn't want us to screw up. He wants us to succeed. So he sets up a plan in the event that we do not succeed. So God is not tricking anyone. He's not playing games. He loves us more than we can fathom. That is why our understanding cannot be God's understanding, because we see right here. God sees way over there. Nous pas jamais regarder une photo qui est 3D. It's a 3D picture. It's like a frame. When you're looking through it, you're going to see something completely different. I don't know if you ever tried doing that. So une photo est 3D. Mais une photo c'est pas ça lié. But when you concentrate, you look through it, you're going to see another picture. I love looking at those because my mind works. I'm thinking, what can be through there? Because we don't think, we only see what's right in front of us. We don't see beyond that. And that's what God does. He sees beyond it. Now, God crafted each person in his own and her mother's womb to be distinct. Nous chaque différent. Même marasa est différent. Why? Because there's a gene. You know, they're not made. They may look like they're identical, but there's always something different about them. Ou bien yon pi haut, yon pi court, yon get file called malade. Their footprints are different. So we all made literally, distinctly differently. Why? Because Bondye ka konte cheve nou tout ki la, grain par grain. So li pa ka fè nou même gens. He makes us distinct because he knows us by name. But s'il fait même gens avec sa Eva, they can prendre pour sa Eva. But he made me different because he want to remember Gina, he want to remember Eva. So we are all made differently. Now, we're not made by coincidence. Ou bien nature. There's no coincidence about it. Et pour ça, si nous croyons bon Dieu vraiment n'a pas gagné dans la vie avec coincidence for us, there's no such thing as coincidence. He already knew. He set the plan in place for us. The great thing about Psalm 139 is that we can't see, nous pas ka wè. Psalm 139 tells you how much you are worth to God. So today's title is, do you know how much you are worth? Parce que nous pas kon valè nou. I'm going to tell you a story about self-worth, how God sees you. It's not how other people sees you. L'autre moun wè yo wè valè ou nan machine kon di, comme l'argent gagné, qui joue mené dans la ria, qui qualité travail ou gagné, qui est qui environnement. That's your worth to them, but that's not God's worth. God sees you differently. God says you are worthy because I created you even before you knew it. So you're worthy. You know, I didn't allow this to happen to you because you're worthy. We don't understand what worth is, and we don't apply it the way we're supposed to apply it. There was an old man. He was about to die, but before he died, il était un petit garçon. Il dit petit garçon, m'gan Mont, il gagne 200 ans. M'vle pour aller combien prier. He says, I have a 200-old watch. It's an old, but il gagne scratch sous lui. Il dit, I got it pour combien valeur lié. But the thing is, nous toujours garder beauté dehors, mais nous pas qu'on valeur en rien. So petit garçon prend Mont là, il dit à trois côtés. Il dit premier aller côté au vendre Mont. So he went to a watch stop. He says, I want you to go to 3 separate places. First, go to the watch stop. So petit garçon dit, okay, father, avant papa mourir. So il courit à la watch stop là. You know, he went to a watch shop and he says, how much does this watch values at? Combien ça valait Mont ça? Nèg la dit comme ça, $5. Il couille ko papa. Il dit, father, the watchman told me that the watch is worth $5. He says, Il dit, allez dans pawn shop là, connaît plané bagay. Il dit, allez dans pawn shop là, moun yo reme l'argent ya bon ko boule. So he rushed. He went to the pawn shop. The guy says, $5. He said, father, only $5. He says, go to the museum. He says, okay. So he rushed down to the museum. And then they said, it's worth $1 million. From $5 to $1 million. That's because they know its true worth. You are around people that don't know your worth. You have friends that don't know your worth, but yet you keep being their friends. Your surroundings don't know what you're worth, but God knows what you're worth. You don't know what you're worth, because when you preach, God speaks through you, so you are worth something. See, we don't know our worth. You got to step away from them because they're going to keep you down. You have to learn to be around those that knows your value. Because it's all mental. It's all mental. The way you view yourself is how people view you. Because after a while, you be like, it's not bad. You know? Why? Because it's right here. The way you think about yourself, how you think people feel about you, you're letting them feel that way, and it's not true. You got to think to yourself, what is my worth? My worth comes from God, not from anyone else. So God tells me, Gina, you are worth a lot. So I'm going to take you places. Because you got to remember, Jesus went to places, but Jesus was never valued in his own home. But he went everywhere else where they treasured him. There's nothing wrong with that. Bottom line is, a lot of time people do not know your worth. And it's okay. You just got to show them. Because God will speak through you to show them that you are worth something. But you don't give up. You just keep going. You don't take it personal. It's not worth it. If it's one thing I've learned as a Christian, si kon bagay mwen vin apprendre comme chrétien, de pou pran bagay yo personnel ou mouri nan film nan. You're never going to grow. You got to learn to let things go. You get mad today, you let it go. If you don't, it's not going to work out. You're going to see your spiritual life decline. Why? Because you're holding on to so much. The minute you let it go, you right back up again. So the person that did you wrong, you stop forgetting about them. That is why if somebody calls you and says, can you believe what she said about me? Be like, she's crazy. Don't worry about it. She listens to everybody. But if you take the information and consume it and just conspires with it, you're hurting yourself because you're not going to get over it. You know? Like when they dit l'autre jour, on m'a dit comme ça, oh, mais ça, on ça dit sous, oui. Ou t'as parlé sur moi tout, oui. Et comme ça, on connaît, ou t'as parlé sur moi. But, so dans l'autre semaine, on parle avec mon nom, il dit, oh, même, au sang, on dit, ah, I'm smart. That's all. Si la parle sur moi, I'm gonna faire un bagay, you know? That's how you shove it off. If you don't learn to do that, trust me, it's not gonna work out. You gotta learn to be bigger, to go higher. See, I never told anybody about how I became Seventh-day Adventist. I know in my heart I was chosen to be here. No one put me here. You know how I know I was chosen? On va me venir Adventiste. Dès qu'on a l'église papa maintenant, ouais là on dit petit pasteur pas bon, pas bon. Yo bien mal. Et nous pas fait plus dégâts l'église là. Plus dégâts l'église là. Chaque dimanche papa m'a complaint. Mais papa maman me différent. Yo pasteur et petit monde. Yo maintenant devant cher. Frères et sœurs, nous besoin prier. C'est Gina dans discours hier soir, on est rentré 2h du matin. Priez pour lui, mettez chez nous, faites prier pour. Et I'm like, Li fait avec nous tous. Les frères ont gonflé enceinte. Pas maman baquet. Il dit venez mettre à genoux là devant chez après prier pour. Mais li c'est ton fils oui. Frère ça, là c'est ton fils oui. And my brother didn't know what to do. I said, c'est les pao. You know? See, when you don't hide it, it helps. Ou comme beaucoup ça, grand paquet moun qui remet, moun qui était un nègre là qui pas président, pas dire non, Trump. Parce qu'il dit gens là. Moun remet vérité sous Jean pas connaît. Ou alors serré, yo connaît déjà. Yo pas de rien, mais y a pas là une l'autre. Gen wa gon zin ka bouri l'église là, tout le monde connaît ou pas connaît. They know because you're trying to act like you're perfect. So they say, we'll give it. But see, I'm different. I'm just like my parents. What my first husband, papa Timoun sayo, l'elle prend fille, on t'en fait, mal fait zami avec yo. Ou bien me dit tout le monde ça, on va ça, pour que tu puisses dire. Because if I hide it and I act like I have a perfect marriage, I'm never gonna know. L'elle pense l'on côté m'd'elle, mettons prend l'autre machine m'conduit d'elle, pas connaît d'elle parce que pas connaît m'connait. Mais comme on capable quand même, why? Because they looking out for me. When you hide stuff, you live in secret, you suffer. You suffer because you don't know how to talk about it. You don't know how to express it, so it stays right in here, you're suffering. But if you shouldn't care about what other people have to say. Why do you care? I had to learn to stop caring. Then you live. Your deal, oh well, because they have their own problem. They're just not strong enough to talk about it. But when God gives you strength to just release it, you stop caring. You just live life. You got to think about what matters to Him, what benefits you. As a Christian, we have to stop caring about what other people think about us. It doesn't matter. What difference does it make? Because He's already erased it for me. Why do I care? Because if I care, I'm going to hold grudges against you, and you're going to stop me from going to heaven, so I got to stop caring. The only reason why we're not full in here because too many people care. You got to learn to let go. And as you let go, you move forward. And people don't like that. They want you to keep it. You know what I'm saying? They want you to stay mad. And once you're not, that's okay, I'm good. Because I want to live. You know what I'm saying? So, l'amna l'église papa now. Je suis un jour, je suis derrière, je suis derrière. Je ne dis pas parler de chita derrière, non, mais même derrière pour me parler. So, mon frère grand bagage qui passait, il a dit, c'est moi qui fais. I said, no, I didn't. Je ne pas faire vraiment. And I said, I got to change my ways. But I said, Father, bon Dieu, je vais changer, mais je besoin de preuve avant de changer. Je vais un rêve pour te faire dans high school. Si je fais le même rêve là, je vais changer. No joke, no lie, he's listening to me. I went to bed that night. Mal dormi nan même assoya, me fait même exact rêve là. Then I said, I guess I got to change. So quand je me retiré derrière, je viens devant. Et pour ça, je suis derrière. Je viens devant because I pay attention. L'aime devant, je me qu'est-ce qui derrière. But si there, I'm going to go, oh, why can't you play with him? Yeah. I don't have that choice anymore because I'm in the front. So papa m'a suivi and dit, oh, ça Gina again. See, the thing is, l'on change mon appel. Ou pas même besoin connaître l'on changer parce qu'on l'a mon appel déjà. You know you change when other people see it. Trust me. Once people start seeing it, you better believe you've changed. You just don't know you've changed. Derrière mes bêtises. Trust me. I was not good. Not good parce que là, dans le collège, they're going to change. See, the thing is, my parents couldn't figure out that I was doing other things because les reports, quand je venais, c'est harcèlement. Il y a jamais dans l'autre activité. I do my job, you know. I prioritize. Smart people prioritize. Mettez tout à fait comme en priorité, but I just New York la mal fêté. But they don't know, but their prayers kept me safe. So we got to keep praying for your kids because they're going to grow. Ils ont grandi dans Jean Payo. So, si je connais, ça me défait, je dois mal parler pour la mal, trust me, I did. You know? So, bottom line is, they're going to grow in their own ways. Ils ont grandi dans Jean Payo, pas dans Jean Pao. Whatever fait sauver, they're going to go in their own ways. And when God is ready for them, He's going to pull them. He says, I'm ready for you now. And I want you to ready. I was not ready. Because I was in church. Tout le monde fait, ladies la mienne. Because in college, I was a good kid. Je ne pas pam. Even quand dans l'école, là, même pour tout. Si vous mettez pantalon, là, quand je l'école là, pour le reste mettre pantalon. So it was a bit tough. But after college, là, me sorti, maman met ton fichier derrière porte là pour me rentrer. Je suis un bon frère, ça. Je prends ma fenêtre là. Nous 8. Nous aidons une lot. Peut-être ça, nous pas besoin d'amis. Nous aidons une lot, you know. La maman me dit, quand tu es là, je dis, ah, là, oui. Pas de jamais sorti. Je dis, c'est pas là. Je dis, côté près vous. Je dis, m'apprends. Et then tout frère m'a dit, papa, j'ai dormi. I'm like, oh, thank you, God. You know. Quand je sorti, maman a suivi moi. Papa m'a pas jamais dormi. La suivi. Quand il y a les frères m'a dit, try to find a way to let me in. Frère m'a dit, don't worry about it. Frère m'a proposé, il tombait à terre. Help. And then maman me dit, ça gagne. Je dis, pas ça. Quand il y a un gars, elle me passe, monter. Quand il y a 4 heures du matin, il dit, côté Gina. I said, what? Il dit, écoute, on pas là. Pas me dit, pas fou, pas là. Yeah, fou, you know. So, I'm thinking about the way I live my life, and God still has mercy on me. I would be a hypocrite to talk about your kids. God would punish me. But He reserved me for a purpose. For a purpose. You know, on fait mal dans le club. Y a tiré, me dit, oh, Bondye, si yo, bon, par contre, ça m'a fait. Par contre, y a tiré. Zami m'na râler, me dit, me dit, si mourir, ça me dit par exemple. Ma pensée, si mourir, je connais. Mais si mourir, ça me dit, you know. But I made it home. And I'm like, let's say, man, même bagarre. Même bagarre encore. Why? Because youth is different. So pensez, oh, they learn. No, they don't. It's until God is ready to pull them. Until then, just keep praying for them. Priez pour yo. Parce qu'on ne peut pas changer yo, on ne peut pas changer ça au bras le verre. C'est bon Dieu seulement les arriver just I'm ready for you. You guys didn't know Ava? She grew up in the church. She wasn't that nice. When I'm the directrice jeunesse, but look at her now. God has a funny way of working things out. He says, all right, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just keep praying. But if you give up na prière, we give up to Timoun now. Mais l'on pas give up na prière, pas give up to Timoun now. Parce que bon Dieu connaît jeunesse. Everybody have their time. Their time to be crazy, to do things that you would never think they would do. But it doesn't mean that they are less. It only means that you need to pray more. And then think about you. They wonder why the kids are just like them, but they're not going to say it. Be like, oh, qui j'en fais comme ça? And then you find out, I'm just like you. You know what I'm saying? So you got to pray for them. So dans l'église, m'a parlé quand il m'a passé devant. Je dis, OK, faut me changer. Bon Dieu, bon bref, faut me changer qu'on y a. Chaque jour, je lis Bible, moi, je me dis, all right. Vous connaissez l'église protestante, c'est où? I don't get it. I never understood it. Ça fait que mon Dieu a toujours mis à part parce que you got to learn for yourself. Why do you allow somebody to give you? Why can't you see it? Et voilà ça gagne police catholique parce que bayo just prend. Doesn't work. I said, all right, since you showed me, now I'm going to get to know you. Je commence à lire moi. Je lis tout. De Genèse à Révélation. Quand je me dis, je ne peux pas comprendre, je vais prendre un CD. Je m'achète un CD and I listened to it. I did the audio. And I read it again. But the more I read it, the more I understood who God truly was and how much He loved me. Avant de venir Adventiste, je me retire Zano, je me retire Sean, je me penser Adventiste. Chaque temps que je lis un verset, je dis comme ça, chaque temps peuple Israël vient devant Bondye, they got rid of everything. He says, get rid of that stuff. Just come to me as clean and fresh as possible, as simple as possible. I say, well, if He wants people to be simple, why am I complicating my life? Chaque matin, je me lève, si ça n'a pas matché avec ça, pas bon, je vais faire une étape, chercher qui s'en a avec chaîne qui matche. I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I got rid of them. Papa Timon sa dit, ah, je t'ai acheté diamant sur une jeté bon. You know? So, whatever. You know? See, the thing is, when you start reading, what happened is, the more you read, you start seeing less of things. The God says, you bless, so you can be a blessing to somebody else, not for yourself. Go back at mon qui pas grandi parce que si vous avez un corps, vous dites, ah, ça trop petit pour mal dans l'autre monde. You're kidding yourself. Why do you think Jesus spoke so highly of that old woman? Christ a parlé des grands monde qui étaient by Dimio, il était comme celle penny, parce qu'il était plus petit, mais il still bail là-dedans. Il va pas des riches qui gagnent déjà. C'est là où pas gagner, ou still fait effort. That's how you get blessed. On a un problème parce qu'on dit ça pas assez pour me rendre bail. Ou bien on a dit, oh, même gars c'est me payer bill, même mal payer dim avec offrande. You're kidding yourself. Because you're taking away your own blessing. But when you make the effort, l'on fait sacrifice, l'on dit, man, ni dim, ni offrande, your blessing is on its way. When I used to look at my check, I have to pay 10% tithe, but I also pay 5% offering because the church has to run. I don't think about my bills. I pay my tithe and offering first, and then I pay my mortgage and I pay everything else. Let me say something. My bills are more than my paycheck, but for some reason it always works out. I don't know how, but it works out. Why? Because when you trust, He takes care of you behind the scenes. Say, well, where bill you pay? Like, yo, how? And I'm a budget freak. Everything is on paper, you know? It's called trust. My little will become big when I see it big. Mais si tout ça, the church has to run. If you don't preach, somebody else will preach. That's how God sees it. Si pas prêcher, on l'autre mon a prêché. Si on le fait prier, on l'autre mon a fait. Les papes si t'as dit pas gagne pas moi gagne mon l'église parce que pas en position on dit comme ça, m'a pas ça faire. Actually, he's going to find somebody else. He's not going to let his work go. No, he doesn't do that. He said, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or the opposite. Là où même vous voulez travailler un nouveau, vous remplacez, on dit, ça va passer tout, non? Elle dit, you're not going to bonjour là, on va quitter le chita. I'm going to take care of her. I'm going to show you. That's how God works because He reads the heart. So when I sat in the front, I was reading my Bible, and I started to pray more. Les pour appeler ou prier. Et les pour prier ou chanter. Même moi me chanter moi danser ça me déconne faire. Tout ça non où c'est qu'on soit prier. Oh maman l'église c'est qu'on arrêter. Il va chita, ouais parce que ba me faire 4 strokes. So s'il fait 4 strokes, il pas gagne moun k'ap dit pour chita qu'on y a parce qu'il pas qu'on lever main qu'on la lever main, la lever main pour bon Dieu. You know, il y a des gens qui shy about pas qu'on qui jamais faire non. Là l'église là, il y a by you know louange, ouais, mon chita comme ça. Dès qu'on l'église, mal garder mon Dieu, moi, comme ça. Ou bien si c'est créole, il a chanté, il va chanter. Mais si anglais a chanté, it's not weird. Haitians are very weird people. Si anglais a chanté, mais si école va chanter. Si français a chanté. It's like, doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? But, lorsqu'on fait ça, bon Dieu fait pour vous, what do? You praise Him. Because now you're showing God, I'm nothing. You are something. Là, on prend position à faire, dit, bon, ma ballon diabetes. Appelle chita. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you always got to be ready, you know, to show God that I don't care about what people think about me. I only care about you. You know what I'm saying? So my plea, m'a écrit, m'a prié, parce que tout ça me fait la veille, m'a quitté de pour ça le corona, pas que big modèle. Si me prend corona. I'm serious. They me prend because we're together. We're in this together. I'm pas parler sans big moi. Not doing it. Moi li, dit cette prière, fait cette prière. The thing is you got to make it fun. Papa et maman te fait very difficult. But parce que tu fais souvent, ils still rete avec. Parce que the Bible says repetition is key. Chaque temps répéter, le rete, oui. Même si vous n'avez pas pour qui pour pas vrai non, le rete. Vous dire son le plus que vous. Jean Ali là, vous pas jamais parler. Dit qu'on tout chanter yo. Elle remet yo. Il pas même en fait anglais yo. Why? Repetition. Ou chanter, le petit monde n'attendait, mais qu'on y a pour dire, monsieur, ouvert bouche, Bondye pour oui, ou pas que des Bondye ou même. You know? And then eventually, wow, get a chanter puis ça qu'on dit, hallelujah. Puis mais qu'on chanter, you know? I don't play. We sing a lot. Nous fait praise. That's what we do. At the house, I'm thinking, you know, we're killing it. Donc si je me fais la caille, si je me fais la caille, je fais la machine là. Tout côté, I got to praise, because you got to know that I care. You know what I'm saying? So I'm reading. Quand papa me dit, "Gon pas qui change oui avec Gina." Maman me dit, "Oh, ça le gain là." I said, "Huh?" They asked me, "Ma l'église plus bonne que tout le monde." Why? Because I'm hungry. I want him. Because now he showed me proof, so now I want him. So ma l'église plus bonne que tout le monde. Papa me dit, I don't know. Quand il y a un prend jeunesse là, pas oublier, c'est moi qui te sorti avec eux. Nous petit pasteur pas bon. Pas pasteur pas non, pas c'est néocent, pas aider monde pas. You know? But nous quand prend toute jeunesse là, on prend 20 l'église là. Mais juste nous jaser avec. Avec tout le monde, on a fêté. Pour l'église demain, on va pas l'église non? Nous mettons nous pas aller. Même si that's a great thing d'avoir parents. Même si tu fait la fois l'église quand même, which is actually a good thing. I didn't realize it, but it's a good thing. It shows you that you could always come back to God. Et pour le samedi, il n'est pas une bonne idée leur péché pour paix à côté Bondye parce que les veulent tourner. Vous not mettre dans la tête où you feel ashamed. The shame is going to be there because you love him, so you're going to feel guilty. But go, pray, read, still do the same routine because he's going to pick you up again. But depuis Satan qui dit qu'on s'arrête loin, regardez les gens laides qu'on y a, regardez les gens ou sales qu'on y a, c'est Satan. Trust me, it's all him. Because God wants you to have sorrow, like guilt, like I shouldn't have done this, you know. So l'autre tourne l'église là, gon moun ka prêcher, qu'on y a pas senti au fond bagay qui wrong. Mais l'autre pas aller acheter la caillou, pas gen moun qui pour dire ça. Et pour ça moun pas comprendre, l'autre vini autant d'on prêche, les en personne les vivant. Parce que on a télévision, je suis pas capable de faire télévision. Moi, je me dis qu'on même molnique avec des petits mouvements là, dans corona. Ou bien salam, I'm sorry, elder salam. You know, it would just be us. Why? Because I just needed to be here. I felt like I would gain more. I don't know. Parce que je parle de petits mouvements, ils dorment en télévision devant, ils prennent pause, ils regardent service. Là, je connais dormir, ils dorment. Je dis non, je parle. Et si je parle, parce que je ne dis pas qu'à venir vraiment, je fais service régulier là quand même. Je ne pas regarder. Je fais service régulier. C'est comme l'église là, je répète service là en personne avec eux pour chanter parce que si je regarde, il n'y a pas même gens pour moi. Vous comprenez? Donc, là, quand je fais, quand je ne parle là, je vais passer, je connais pas faire parce que là, je suis malade, là, je me dis, je vais vers ça, je ne peux pas chanter. Je vais vers ça, and I'm like, what? I said, well, hallelujah. You know, so God is looking at me like, all right, you did your thing, G. I'm like, no. You know, so you want God to help you because you help them. So pas aider, on va pas prier pour dire bon Dieu aider, il faut aider. Bon Dieu veut avant, après ça le prend la main. Mais si on va faire mes amis, come on, la plus rough pour, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sitting there reading quand je prends jeunesse là. Même jeunesse me retourner, on retourne le gonia. So je commence à faire étude biblique là quand même. My house was the hottest place. Chaque vendredi, je fais un pile manger. Je fais toute jeunesse la venir, je vais manger, je fais étude. Because the thing is, je baille, mais je prends. Tout ça, je prends. It was fun. I mean, even my daughter remembers it. She was what, 3? You know, tout le monde activité. Tout le monde activité. So everybody's, you know, is feeling it, you know. Ti jeune a converti, ti jeune a fait ça, ti jeune a fait ça. And I'm like, so that's why, even though m'te prend m'te détourner yo, mon te gen plan pour moi déjà. Je dis moi besoin qui m'a faut retourner yo back. You know, so he has plans. Moi j'aime quand d'abord mentir, I'm not Adventist. Oh gosh, I didn't like them. I did not. I don't know why parce que pas oublier when you're not reading, you're going to take what people give you. Parce que mon a dit c'est mon la loi. You pas parce que non, you do c'est mon la loi and you thinking what they against, I'm against like David said. Your enemies are my enemies, Father. So when Lord dans l'église, les moun nan dit ça c'est ennemi Olivier de mon tout. That's just how it works. But when you're reading, you see truth. You know? So, moi là, tout bagay, te gen un réveil l'église là. Dans pas l'église là, dans la première l'église là, côté en terme en fait là. Après ça, nous allé dans côté Lexington Avenue. Yo gon réveil ti kamrele my aunt and my uncle. Yo dit moi mais des pasteurs vinn ma des questions non. Je oh sure why not? I'm coming. I'm reading my Bible. I'm coming. Parce que des fois leur fait plan pour vexer un monde bon Dieu dit OK. Apprends, you know. So plan c'est montrer la vérité. That was my plan, you know, because I'm reading, I'm questioning people. So ti kam dit venez non. On dit sure no problem. C'est pasteur Benz. Comme une question, m'a plagué question. And then la try pour faire comprendre ça ba. I couldn't get it. Do you know who helped me understand? First enough. God chose different people to make you understand. It don't matter who has knowledge, who knows what, when, where. He showed it to me in a way where I couldn't convince myself it wasn't real. When I'm okay. I'm like, whatever. And I'm still telling myself, that's not going to happen, you know? When I'm like, when I'm from G, I said, what's up? Parle kote moun sa yo encore. My brother Jeff. Why? I don't like it. I don't feel right. Okay. I said, why would I become Seventh-day Adventist? Just parle. I said, and I feel like he's sad. Triste là, il dit ça. I'm okay, don't worry, I'm not going to go. Quand il m'a relève, tu vas pas stop lui-même. Il relève encore, il dit, oh, il y a venu encore. Il me dit, Jeffrey a regardé, il me dit, well, just maybe one more time. Jeffrey dit, I said, just one more time, brother. Trust me, I'm not dealing with these people. Je tourne. Bah là, bon, je tourne encore. Retourne encore. Quand il y a un baptême, quand il y a un petit camarade, il me dit, on va venir dans le baptême, you know, dernier service là. I said, nah. Quand il y a un ami qui t'a invité dans une fête, des petits gens qui étaient en fête, et then malé, je suis dans la fête là, I can't stay. Les dit comme ça, Dana says, G, what's up? I said, I don't know. I feel like I don't want to be here. Les dit, pour qui ça? Les dit, Gina, Jeffrey told me, you've been with those people. Gina, stop it. Do you know who your dad is? I said, I know. I said, okay. Je suis dans la fête là, je ne suis pas chita, non? Et comme ça, tu go, qui prend me dit, let's go. I'm like, I said, I gotta go. So I came, but I sat in the back. Il a fait appel. Moi, je dis, yeah, right. Quand il y a un pasteur à Benz vient passer devant moi, passer. And then I felt somebody just touch me and said, get up. L'aime camper, je ne sais pas. L'aime baptiser, je ne sais pas. Si l'aime réveiller, je ne connais pas. Parce que, pas oublier, the Haitian says, Brikouri. For me, it's Gaia because I know Stanford. I know people. No second. Tout le monde connaît me baptiser, me dit, oh boys, what did I do? I said, I know I didn't do it. I said, what did I do? Qu'est-ce que ça me fait? Quand il y a but moi bagay la kay moi, I'm very big on communication. Pas besoin que des parents me connaissent bagay derrière, c'est pas moi qui dis. That's how I live my life. I don't care about the consequence. I care about telling you. You do what you want to do with it after. So moi dis, papa me de Boston. Il était dans bagay. Quand il y a m'rele yo, le grand matin parce qu'elle était à soir elle me baptisé grand matin m'rele yo. Me dit me besoin parler avec nous. Yo dit pour qui ça? Me dit me besoin parler avec nous. Oh, OK, G. I said, yeah, I'm okay. Là, moi, je parle, me dit, me baptiser dans l'Adventiste. Je dis, nous ne pas bailler petit point comme ça. I said, il dit, oh, c'est que bon, on a défait, lui. You know, just parler, faire comme si oublié. I said, well, I can't do that. I just got baptized, Father. I can't do that. I was going to church Saturday and Sunday for months. Because now my parents felt so betrayed. Now you can't be loin de jeunesse là parce que pas vle pour moi. So I said, oh man. It was the worst time of my life because I'm very close to my parents. Because I'm the only one that can tell them exactly how it is. Yeah, they hurt their feelings, but they love it. And I'm like, what am I going to do? Papa me dit, pas venir la caille moi. Maman me dit, papa c'est côté. Quel est petit tout yo? I said, oh. I went home, I said, Father, is that what you wanted, for me to divide with my parents? I read this Bible. It says that I'm supposed to respect them. They're supposed to love me. I can't be separated from my own parents. I said, figure it out. And show me that what I did was real. If you show me it's real, then I will stand up for you. Because you have to have conviction as a Christian. Parent, papa, you have to do what is right, not what pleases other people. So je prie, mais quand I'm there, chaque jour m'aller. Je travaille beaucoup côté, chaque jour m'aller. Et pas m'occuper. You have to be brave. Si you dis pas venir là quand you m'rete dehors, the relationship is just gonna suffer. But si vous connaissez chercher, Bondye dit, les là-bas, faut travailler tout. Je ne peux pas chuter, je prier, je suis temps. Non, pas comme ça. Je vais aller chaque jour. Je ne vais pas faire manger. Oh well. Je vais aller chaque jour. Quand je prie, je vais aller. But did you know that, je me baptise, je ne vais pas voir quelqu'un? Except the Tikam. Because she doesn't really give up on people. She stays. But, no offense, for everyone that gives you the gospel, you don't see them. For everyone that helped you to get baptized, you do not see them. That's why I always tell him, I forgot his name, that he got baptized. Remember that Christ is the one that chooses you, not the people. Si vous pensez que c'est mon baptisé, ou après aller, pas jamais tourner. Mais pour changer, c'est Christ qui t'est mort pour. You're going to learn to ignore people and what they do. Because when you are in the worst state, par contre si Bondye vlo ouais, moun papa là. And I'm like, that's how it is? I felt alone, and I'm battling. Every day I'm crying because I'm like, I can't lose my parents, but I have to choose God. I have to choose God. So je prie, mais chaque jour je le bois. J'ai un jour, 3 mois. Papa me dit, on va manger. I said, well, hallelujah, of course I will. Of course I'm eating. He said, okay, je ne vais pas manger bagay sa yo, pas manger kloch, you know, pas manger ça, pas quitter bagay la manger. I'm saying, well, hallelujah to you. They cook for me. Well, I'm parlant c'est moi papa qui prêche. Right now. Je suis ma tante qui mourit, je suis l'autre qui mourit. Je prends chanter, je prends chanter nous déconner. Ouais, chanter qui il est loin dans chant d'espérance, je prends chanter ça yo. So now we become one. Then I preach and I feel like and I quote the Bible where it says in 2 Peter, and the trumpet shall sound, and I quote the verse, you know, and the dead in Christ will rise first, and we will meet. So I'm reciting verses that are right here, so he can't tell me I'm going against. So we are able to still be one, even though we have different faith. Why? Because tout ça nous gagne, nous supposons prendre Bondye avant religion. You have to learn to coexist. Not to be better, but to coexist so your message can be transpired. You have to respect the religion, si je ne prends pas un bon passé. Mais là, pour nous aller back and forth, we do. Parce qu'on fait maman dit, c'est moi pas l'évangile là. He chose me. But we can talk about it. Why? Because I have to stand up for God. I love my parents, and God worked it out for me. So if you trust him, he's going to work it out. He is, when the Bible says omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, so presently he's everywhere at the same time. You're not going to understand it because his thoughts are higher than yours. Omniscient, omnipotent, all powerful. You know what I'm saying? He knows everything. You don't know anything. I don't know anything. He knows everything. So he wants us to rely on him. So this morning, I want to ask you this afternoon, do you know your worth? Est-ce que vous connaissez valeur? Parce que si vous connaissez valeur, vous connaissez que Bondye remet. Si qu'on valeur, on connaît toute bagaille possible, mais faut travailler. Si on pas travail, et là, ça va être impossible. Mais depuis travail, on va toute bagaille possible, and then you're gonna have conviction, you're gonna stand strong in your love. Whenever you get closer to God, just know you're not gonna have a lot of friends anymore. Everybody's gonna go away because now you're choosing God. When you choose God, guess what? You gotta go against people. You gotta say, so I no, that's not right. You know, I don't think it's right. I think you should reconsider. I think that sister is okay. Don't talk about her. Think about your children before you think about somebody else's kids. Ndou ça, tu casses mon bala moun. Et pas moi qui fais comme ça. Mais si on l'autre petit l'autre moun pas parler avec, pas pour ça personnel, ben me connais pas m'en faire. You start thinking that way, you start putting yourself in the position first, then you find yourself growing. And as you grow, you get closer to God. Then just like Jason, I remember when he was 6, il me dit, qu'est-ce qu'il va aller dans le ciel? Il dit, moi-même. Why? Il connaît le aller. Mais si moi, je dis, I don't know. Why? Parce que qu'on s'en fait. That's all it is. Depuis qu'on n'a pas fait rien, depuis qu'il dit, pas le ciel, dit, yes, rien. Ça va dire, me tomber, he's going to bring me back up. But I know. Why? Because I know I didn't dog you. I didn't talk about you. So I'm going. I know I'm about to trick avec l'autre monde, so I'm going. I know when I'm at work, I treat everybody the way they need to be treated, so I'm going. So my falling has nothing to do with me going. I can fall today, gonna bring me back up. Why? Because I'm going. So we have to know we're going. When you know you're going, it's the best feeling in the world. Then you stay connected. And then you truly see what God is about. So this morning, I'm letting you know to know your worth. When you know your worth, nobody can touch you. Amen? Thank you.